Welcome, everybody, back to Match Day. This is Vince Ganzberg, and it is Friday, and I do have my audio on, so I apologize. Uh, so I'm just going to pick up where I left off again. Welcome, and just going to, this is part two of kind of creating your own app using Glide Apps and Google Sheets. So I'm just going to pick up, like I said, where I left off. And that was basically, I was inside, and let me go ahead and share my screen. I was inside the Glide Apps portal. So I'll go ahead and I'll just turn my screen share on again and see if we can see it here. So as you can see here, this is basically the app. And again, it was all driven from the rows and columns that you created on the spreadsheet that it belongs to. And like I mentioned before, if you want, you can simply add in the spreadsheet whenever you want, and it automatically should upload. It might take a second or two. Sometimes you have to log out and log back in. It's not always perfect. It depends on your Wi-Fi connection. But like, for example, if I wanted to add in, so I got 10 lesson plans for 10-year-olds. So if I wanted to add in a little graphic there, right, and just for sake of time again, I can just hit get shareable link and close it. Just copy that, and I can copy. Oops, wrong column. That might help. So if I make sure I'm in there, and then if I want to get the actual document, again, just showing one more time for those that kind of missed the first part, but basically it's just creating a folder, putting all the documents you want inside that folder, and then just grabbing them accordingly. So there's my 12 for 12s, and there's 10 for 10s. So if I just click that, or right mouse click, and should be copied, and I can add it to my spreadsheet. And then when I go on to Glide, so right there, it automatically, I don't know if any of you can see it, but right there, it automatically updates. So it's updated. So right there. Anyway, so how do you change the layout? How do you change the look? So I'm just going to start by here, for example, if you want to change this icon, so maybe you want to put your club logo on there. So if I go to, for example, the club I moonlight for, and I want to put in the logo, it'll upload. I can choose the background if I want. And if I wanted to, I can also make it private. So where it says privately, and that's all here in the layout part. So privacy, and then where it says public, you can do public with email. You can make them sign in, and what will happen is it will create like a little thing on the front. And then you can actually put a password if you want. You can type in a password and just send out that password to anyone you have. So I'm going to go back to the actual webinar and see if anybody has any questions. But looks like Ian is on and all that. But there's a lot of little features you can put on here. So I'm going to go back because I'm sure that's annoying everybody. So basically, you like I said, you can. There's your design. You can put your logo on here. There's your themes. So, for example, you can have a chat feature if you want. There's lots of little features, and I'll try and get to those here in a second. So I'm not sure if you can see, but at the bottom of my screen, there are the tabs, right? So there's practice ideas, rules, and SCTV. So if I wanted to, I could change how those look like. So if I click on the left-hand side here, there says tabs. And if I hit practice ideas, and then there's all these little tabs here. Now, these are the ones that are kind of in the Glide Apps platform if you want more, you have to get the the pro version. But let's say, just say, for example, we like this one, and again, it should automatically populate right there for you. So we choose this one, it automatically changes. So you can choose your tab, what it looks like. I'm not sure if it has soccer balls and all that, but I'll just do one more just so you can see. So if I go back to the tab again, so for example, if I want to change rules, the rules tab, I can just, for sake of time, just put in a little house. And as you can see here, it goes right there. So that's on the tab button. This one, the data button, I rarely touch it. I think there's ways you can do if-then statements and so on. You can preview it if you want, but for right now, I'm just going to go to settings and just kind of show you how that looks again. So layout, here's where you can decide the actual look of it when it is, when the people open it up. So, and by the way, you can send a link to all your membership with an email, and I'll show you how to do that. It's really simple. And they can just look at the stuff on their computer. They don't have to upload it on their phone or download it on their phone. And I'm not sure if anyone's asked the question, but these apps do not sit on iTunes or Google Play. So these are just yours and you create them. So let's say, for example, maybe I like this layout, but I want to change, for example, if I hit name, I'm just going to show you. So name is obviously the title here, the name of the document. But let's say I want it to be the graphic link. Well, that's kind of ugly. So I'm just going to keep it at name. And then, but maybe instead, like S8, CC, EF, and all that, maybe I want an image there. So if I hit graphic, so these are those flat icons I was showing you. And basically, I'll show you where it syncs up to the spreadsheet. So this is the graphics column, if you will. And as you can see here, that links that. So you got captions. So for example, if I don't want to caption, I can just make that blank. So now we've got the name of the title. We've got the link. I don't like that either. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And now it's a little cleaner. So I'm going to just check back to make sure no one has any questions. Okay, good. Okay. And I got about 7 minutes. So from here, I'm just going to I'm just going to show you what it looks like here. For example, compact list. So just a little bit. So if you got a lot of stuff, the compact list might work. Tiles, I think these are sometimes pretty cool looking if you want a certain look. So for example, if I go to design here, so I'm on tiles, I go to design, and if I hit like square, so it's just changes into that square. You can do tiles per row. You can change, for example, if I want something like this, and then I can, so now it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, you just play with it. And there's a way you can do text wrapping. You can make it bigger font for the older generation. So there, again, lots of little features, and then details. This is if you really want to play around with like more graphics and stuff like that. I pretty much just do list, or I do compact. I've done tiles as well because for me it's just easier. So let's see if anybody has any questions. So not sure if anyone has any questions. If not, I'm just going to show you just a couple things. So now you've created, like, these are the names of your documents under practice ideas. So if under rules, again, this is kind of the link. And if I want to change, I don't know if you can see that little green, this will happen. So when you want to change, for example, maybe the link, we want it to just say, we want it to be a short URL, or we want it to be a title, and we can give the title We can give it a name. So we can say it is game day rules. And as you can see here, it instantly just fixes it. So lots of little things, and then just click on the bottom here, and let's say I want the 10 for 10s. And already there's my link. But do you see this here where it says 10 for 10s, and it's got that, it's got the Google thing here. So if I wanted to, when I click on that, see where it says details, I can just make sure that goes away, and now it's just 10 for 10s, and then there's the link. And here's what it looks like when you open it up on your computer, and it just literally connects to your Google Drive, and that's all it does. And it can you can link it anywhere. So this is basically like just the basics, and you can get really in depth. So just wanted to show you one last thing. So on the SCTV, if I click on that, and again, I can change where it says name, and I can just make it say that. Now this is a link to YouTube, as you can see the YouTube icon. This one, however, is not. This is a link to my Google Drive. Well, I don't want that. So I uploaded the same video on YouTube. So if I, for example, click on that, and maybe this is just a little video that we want parents to see because they're dribbling moves. I'm not going to show it too much because there are kids on there. Now, if I want to, I can just copy.
Here's the scissors. Boom. There you go. All right, Jillian,
and I'm going to get out of this. I can copy the link. And then in the actual SCTV, so there's that tab, right, that we created. So that dribbling moves was an actual link to Google Drive, but I don't want that. I want it to be an actual YouTube link. So I just copy and paste my YouTube link, and it should, boom. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it just automatically updates. And again, I have pretty good Wi-Fi today. It just depends, and it depends on how many people are on and so on. So as you keep going, honestly, I've learned by just playing, experimenting. They have wonderful, like, little apps. Premade apps. But let's say you want to share this with your membership. I'm just going to quickly go back. Yeah, so Zubin, I hope you got the answer to your question where it says, is it on Google Play or App Store? No, it would not be. So if you hit this little I button, now people can just do the QR codes and scan it, or you can hit copy link. It's copied, and then you can send that via email. And then that's how people can download it. And if you have a password, you can give them the password. So that's kind of really all I got time for. I'm more than happy to get on a Skype with someone, as long as we can get set up. Let me stop sharing my screen. So, oh, yeah, so Ian wants me to share one that I've made. I'll just do that real quick. And so I'll go into all of my apps. So these are all the ones that I've made. So for example, let's say, well, just for the sake of this one, so I made this one last week, the Best of 10 Soccer Challenge. So I just put in, and by the way, this image, I literally just drug it and I dropped it in there. But if you have it on list, it'll look completely different. So I chose tiles for this because I wanted the graphic to show up of what I want the kids to do. So I made that one. So that's one for the kids. And then I'll show you one that I make for the courses. So for example, here's the Urban Soccer Diploma. So these are all their classroom documents. So there's the classroom presentation. Just a few things. These are some videos that they can watch. So you can see the little flat icons are populating again because it's how I set up my spreadsheet. And here are some group activities. So we don't PowerPoint them to death. So just want to show, so maybe Zubin and everybody else, this, I just made it a bookmark, but these are some apps that are like ready to go. And they have this on the Glide Apps site. So you can so you can see here, these are kind of like already pre-made templates. So let's say here's activity log. And if you want to look at the app, you can, or you can just get the Google Sheet and you can, basically what it does, it'll sync to your Google Drive, and you can change all of this to make it what you want. So they already have a lot of these pre-made apps. And you know, that's basically how I got the idea for the best of 10 challenge. So look, I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to turn my screen share off. I'm over time, but anyway, I'm more than happy to show. I'm more than happy to get on a Skype or we can do a screen share on the phone or whatever to just help you. And I'll be honest, I've just played around with it, just like anything else. So thank you so much. This is webinar number 10. And I apologize for the hiccup, human error this at noon earlier. But next week, we got another all-star lineup, not including me. We've got to start. Barry Gorman's going to do the history of systems on Monday. We've got Coach Leslie Gallimore coming. We got and doing a webinar, Dave Simeone, and we have Ian Mulliner from Massachusetts Youth Soccer. That's sure to be entertaining. So we've got, and then we've got an individual from Sheffield Wednesday is going to be on Tuesday as well. So he's going to talk about set pieces and performance analysis. So we'll get a little more serious. But anyway, want to say thank you all so much, and God bless, and be safe, be healthy, and you know, hang in there. So stay strong.